નમસ્કાર, હું આદર્શ છું. વેલકમ ટુ આદર્શ એજ્યુકેશન સોસાયટી.
Hello students, today we will study about the rationalize the denominator. This is the topic of standard 9, chapter number 1, number systems. So what is the meaning of this word rationalize? Denominator, that we know now very well, but rationalize means, to understand this thing, let's take an example. We know now that how to represent the irrational numbers on the number line. That we have studied in earlier classes, like under root 2, under root 3, under root 5. That we know how to represent on the number line. But let's suppose one of the number is this kind of number, 1 upon root 2. This is also an irrational number. So how to represent this number 1 upon root 2 on the number line? To understand this thing, first of all we have to represent this number in another form. To do that, we will take here 1 upon root 2 is equals to 1 upon root 2 multiply by under root 2 divided by under root 2. That means we multiply the given number with this number in both the numerator and the denominator. Now what the result we get here is root 2 into 1 is root 2, and under root 2 multiplied by under root 2, that is the square of root 2, and we will get the result 2, right? So this 1 upon root 2 and under root 2 by 2 both have the equal value. This and this are of equal values. So now you can see here that the denominator here is a irrational number, but the denominator here is now a rational number, and that is called rationalize the denominator, right? So this is to change the denominator from irrational to rational number. That is called the rationalize the denominator. So now it is clear in your mind that how to rationalize the denominator. So now this point is now easy to represent on the number line. So how to represent this on the number line? We know that how to represent root 2 on the number line. So let's suppose on the number line this is 0 and this is root 2. Now this point is at the mid of the root 2 because it is divided by 2. So to find out the midpoint or mean, we can say midpoint as mean also, right? So to find out the midpoint, what we used to do is we add first number and second number and then divide it by 2. So the result we get here is under 2 upon 2, right? So this point is now the midpoint of 0 and root 2, and the value of this point is under root 2 by 2. And what is under root 2 by 2 is 1 upon root 2. So we can say that this point between 0 and under root 2 is 1 upon root 2. So in this way we can represent this kind of number on the number line. So now this is also clear in your mind that why we have to rationalize the denominator, right? Okay, so now what will happen if another example we will take which is different of this case. See, another example is that 1 upon under root 7 minus under root 6. Here there is only one irrational number in the denominator, but here two different numbers and both are in subtraction. So how to rationalize this kind of number? See, first of all we will write down the same number and then multiply this number with under root 7 plus under root 6, under root 7 plus under root 6, both in the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so now it is related to an identity that we have already studied. The identity is x square minus y square. We can write down it as x minus y, x plus y. So this kind of situation we have here. See, in first bracket there is under root 7 minus under root 6, and in second bracket under root 7 plus under root 6. first term is same, second term is same. There is a change in the sign. So now we can use this identity, and if we have this, we can write down these things. This means we can write down it as root 7 square, that is 7, minus root 6 square, that is 6. Numerator will remain as it is because this is multiplied by 1. So numerator remains as it is, under root 6, 7 plus under root 6, and the denominator we have 7 minus 6. And what is 7 minus 6? Is 1. So only the numerator is remain, under root 6, under root 7 plus under root 6. So here there is no denominator. That means denominator is 1. So what we do? First of all, the denominator is rational number, irrational number. Now the denominator is rational number. So we rationalize the denominator. Okay. Now we will see another example. Okay. This is 1 upon under root 5 plus under root 2. So now we know that we have to use the identity this. Then if there is a plus sign, we have to take here the minus sign. But the same term we have to write down both in the numerator and denominator. So now what will happen? These two terms will multiply by 1, so it will remain as it is. Here we have to apply this identity. First is same, second term is same, sign is different, so we can write down under root 5 square, that is 5, minus under root 2 square, that is 2. And what is 5 minus 2 is 3. Numerator remains as it is. So this is now converted into the rationalized the denominator form. See, 3 is a rational number. Another example, that is of 1 upon under root 7 minus 2. Here also what we have to do? The same number we have to write down as it is. Multiply this number with under root 7 plus 2, because here the sign is minus, so we have to take here plus sign, and the same number we have to put in the denominator. Now the numerator remains as it is. Denominator, what will happen? Under root 7, under root 7, under root 7 square, that is 7, and 2 and 2 square, that is 4. So what will happen? 7 minus 4 is 3. Numerator remains as it is. So again, the numerator, you can see that the denominator here is a rational number. Here it is an irrational number. So we rationalize the denominator, right? Here you have to notice one thing. Here there is not under root 2 like this. Here the 2. So we have to take 2 square as 4. So don't be confused here. Okay? So this is all about the rationalize the denominator. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so let us study some more examples. Right, one of the example is 1 upon 2 plus root 3. So to rationalize the denominator, we have to multiply the given number with 2 minus root 3 upon 2 minus root 3. Same number, but the sign is opposite. Right. So now the numerator will remains the as it is. 1 into 2 minus root 3 gives us 2 minus root 3. And in the denominator, what will happen? You know now very well. We have to use the third identity. So we have to square the first term, that is the 2 square is 4, negative sign, under root 3 square, that is equals to 3. So in the denominator we will get 4 minus 3, and 4 minus 3 is equals to 1. So in the numerator we get 2 minus root 3 and denominator is 1. So now our denominator is a rational number because 1 is a rational number. So what we do? We rationalize the denominator. Here the denominator is irrational number, and from that we convert this number to the rationalized form, right? So our denominator is now rationalized. Okay, so the value does not change because this equals to this, right? Now one example. Okay, last example, that is 1 upon 7 plus 3 root 2. So what we have to do? The same thing, this number we have to write down as it is and multiply the number with 7 minus 3 root 2 upon 7 minus 3 root 2. The sign here is positive, so here we have to take negative sign. Now the numerator remains as it is. What will happen in the denominator? 7 square, that is 49, negative sign. Here what will happen? 3 into 3, 3 square is 9, under root 2 into under root 2, that gives us 2. Here what will get? 9, and here is 2, 9 2s are 80, right? So in the denominator we have to subtract 49 minus 18 and it will give us 31. And in the numerator 7 minus 3 root 3 remains, root 2 remains as it is. So now our denominator is 31 and 31 is a rational number. So we convert the denominator from irrational number to the rational number, and this is called the rationalize the denominator. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.